So back on the workbench is our Tamiya TT02. We are doing a full kit build for this video series. In the first video, I completed steps 1 through 12. I'll put a link to it right up there for you guys if you want to catch up on the build. We did add quite a few hop-up parts in that video. You could see some of our blue pieces right here, and we've got a whole box of hop-up parts down there on the floor with some new ones that we purchased since the last video to add to this that we are going to be doing as we move from step 12 probably through to step 25. A lot of racing and a lot of Tamiya aluminum hop-up parts of this video. So I thank you deeply, all of you that commented on the last video, gave us suggestions, you know, anyone that liked it, that is really amazing, and that's why I'm doing this. You know, and if you could subscribe, that would be pretty amazing, because my wife thinks I'm crazy doing this, but every time I get a subscriber, she kind of looks at me and goes, okay, maybe you're not so nuts. I still think she thinks I'm nuts, but anyway, I've got a whole lot of hop-ups to add to this, a whole lot of stock parts, so I think we should just dive right back in and pick up with step 12 where we left off. So we're right in the middle of step 12 from the last time. It's about time that we need to install the battery holders. Now the kit comes with really nice plastic battery holders, but as I said last time, I wasn't sure that was exactly what I wanted for this build, so we've picked up a set of Racing aluminum battery posts and an aluminum battery plate for the Tamiya TT02. We don't need this yet, so we'll put that aside. But the first thing we're gonna do for this step is install these aluminum battery posts for the TT02. Step 12 completed. So let's move on to step 13, attaching the rear lower arms. So we need B1 and B2. We are not doing the short wheelbase, so regular B1 and B2. B1, so this is B1. A little bit of grease, and we need a couple of self-tapping screws along with a 9. So one thing to note with these parts, B1, these are asymmetrical. This piece is longer than this piece, so if you look at the kit, it definitely tells you that you need to have the longer part towards the chassis and the shorter part sticks out. So that's how you have to arrange them. Put a little bit of grease on here. Slide him in. And we're careful to put the longer piece towards the chassis, and then there you go. B8. Two of these, and we need two MA1, which are longer. So now we're going to go on to step 15, which is flipping the car around and attaching the front lower A arms. So if you remember from last time, you just take this little guy, kind of pop him in, and that's it. Pop him right in. You'll see these guys move nice and freely. And they've got these two holes right here. Those holes need to face away from the chassis. So that is how they're gonna go. Now we are gonna put grease on that, so we'll get to that in a second, but in the meantime we need piece A9. Now we're moving on to step 17. So step 17 is very exciting because you'll see we've got this piece here and this piece here, and we have purchased some awesome hop-ups to replace those pieces. So check this out. We have got Yeah Racing aluminum front knuckle arm sets. That is what is going to replace this piece here. We have the steel front and rear gear joints. We've got 2 sets of them from Yeah Racing because we're doing the front and rear. We also have 2 sets of these guys for the car as well, for the front and back. And we have for the rear knuckle arms as well. So we are going to be replacing quite a lot of parts in the next couple of steps with some amazing Yeah Racing parts. Not to mention, we're going to be leveraging a whole bunch of our Fast Eddie ball bearings that we still have. Okay, so let's move to the front of the car and do step 18, hatching the front uprights. A10, A6, A10. A6. We are doing the high ground clearance, so we need to go to page 18. So we actually need A6, A10 like we have, but we also need A8. So let's take a look at A8. So we also need this guy. Okay. So that seems to be how those go together with the low friction ball joints and the Yeah Racing front knuckles. Let's do the other side. that is the front Yeah Racing parts installed. So now we are on to the rear uprights, which are step 19. So apparently I bought knuckle arms for the TT02B. This is not a TT02B, so this does not fit. So it turns out these hubs are for a TT02B, which is not what this is. This is a TT02 with no B moniker. TT02B, I think, is a buggy. It might be called the Neo Scorcher or something like that. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But this did not fit in my kit. This piece is a little too wide. So I did a little bit more internet sleuthing and realized that yes, Yeah Racing, who makes awesome parts and has everything incredibly well labeled, but I didn't pay attention, that's why I bought the wrong one. Luckily, Yeah Racing also makes a regular TT02 hub. So I ordered this off RC Mart, even though it was overseas, it came really quickly, so shout out to RC Mart, good looking out. I am really excited to now continue this build. It's been like a week or so, I'm sure. Possibly. But you could see that these are the correct knuckles that are going to go onto this. So we are about to continue our build after a brief week and a half or so interlude, since we now have the correct knuckles. So let's get to it. These are not the same bearings. I don't understand. I don't know if I used the wrong one. I have this bearing, and then I have this bearing. They're not the same. I should have 3 more of these, and I don't. So this is a lesson in the importance of measuring, because I put the wrong bearings in the drivetrain. So I had to take it all apart to redo it. Fast Eddie did not make a mistake because they're awesome. I made a mistake because I didn't freaking measure. So anyway, now that the car is completely apart, it still looks good. Now I found the missing bearings, which were never missing. They were just misassembled. I'm going to put the car back together with the correct bearings in the correct spots. These are the bearings that go in the drivetrain, not these. Now that we actually have the right bearings, since we took the incorrectly assembled bearings out of the drive shaft, where we put them incorrectly, you'll now see we can easily drop in the correct bearings into our hubs. So when you want to assemble these for the high ground clearance option like we're doing, you have to make sure that the number 2 is upside down. So since we have these amazing correct carriers from the Yeah Racing, you'll see, yep, they drop right in. '21 and 22, which are the friction dampers, but I'm not a big fan of non-oil filled shocks. How could I let this car get built with non-oil filled shocks? So, look at this. We have a full set of Yeah Racing shocks. These are aluminum dampers. It comes with oil. It's for 1/10 touring cars. It actually matches. If you look at the coloring, we're gonna have the exact same color here as we have on there. So I am really excited to open this guy up and to build these shocks. So we had to take a little break while I was doing the shocks here. I bought this really awesome set of shocks from Yeah Racing. It's actually the second set of these shocks that I've bought. I have orange ones on my Fortec. For some reason though, these shocks didn't come with the E-clips. So I went on Amazon and I bought this set of 300 E-clips. There's a bunch of different sizes. I'm hoping that the M3 will be the right size for these shocks so we could start building them now. I just had to stop. It's a little weird. I mean, the last set of shocks I bought from Yeah Racing had the E-clips with no problem, so it's probably just some sort of manufacturing oversight. I did send them a message on Instagram. I never heard back, but I didn't feel like waiting. So, I mean, this was like $12 on Amazon, so I bought it. And let's be honest, I mean, who doesn't need more E-clips when you're building RC cars? So now that we have the E-clips, we are going to jump in and get back to building the shocks for our TT02. So that was step 21, except we used Yeah Racing parts. So let's go to step 22, which is attaching the front dampers. Top screw and in the bottom there. So let's just start with that. Okay. Front shocks are installed. Okay, we have shocks. So that was step 23. So it looks like step 24 is the steering linkage, 25 is steering linkage, 26 is checking your RC equipment, 27 and 28. So it looks like the next thing is steering and all that stuff. So I think we are going to stop this video here, because we have a lot of stuff still to do that I think would make for another video. We've done a lot today. We've moved it really far. The car is definitely coming along. Look at all these blue parts. You've got Tamiya, you've got Yeah Racing. We've got a lot of really nice stuff in there. It's really starting to shape up. The car feels pretty beefy. I'm very happy with the way it is doing. I would love though, for high ground clearance, these screws definitely stick out pretty low. It's an odd thing. Hmm.